Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. So for the today's video, the topic that I have picked is the Friedman's theory of money demand. As those who are observing the channel, as you all know that I'm making videos on the different theories of money demand. So this is the fourth theory that we are going to do. In the previous videos, we have done about Fisher's theory, we have done Cambridge theory, we have done Keynesian theory as well. So now we are going to start with the Friedman's theory. As I told you earlier also, this Friedman's theory, they are the post Keynesian theory, right? So they all came after the Keynesian theory of money demand was already there. So let's just understand about Friedman's theory. It's a very simple theory. So let's see. First of all, now when Keynesian theory came, right? He came with the theory that money demand is of three types: of transactionary demand, precautionary demand, and speculative demand. But still, at that same time only, in the Chicago University, the professors were still of the view that money is a commodity. I mean, they were still going on with the quantity theory of money demand. So, if all of you remember, then in the Fisher's theory is the quantity theory of money demand. I mean, the classical economists believed that money is a commodity, and that is why people demand money. So, similar even after Keynes, at Chicago universities, the professors were still holding the view that money is a commodity and it is the quantity theory of money demand only. So, Professor Milton Friedman, he was the professor at Chicago University. He came up with a modern version of quantity theory of money demand. Let's see what is his theory of money demand. So first of all, he said money in real balances, like not in the nominal terms, like not, for example, if I have 100 rupees and the price in the economy is 50, so that is my cash balance. Now let's say the prices in the economy increase by 100, increase to 100 rupees, they become double. So my cash balance, the money that I have, should also get double. That is called real cash balances. So Friedman gave the theory for the real cash balances only. He was talking about money in real terms. So he said money in real terms is just like any other commodity. If you all remember, in microeconomics, you all have done demand for commodity X, demand for commodity Y, right? We have done that. Similarly, they said money is also a commodity and its demand depends on the utility. Remember, the commodities, they give us utility. Utility क्या होता है? Satisfaction. कुछ commodities को consume करने से हमें satisfaction मिलती है, इसीलिए हम उसके लिए price pay करते हैं. So that is the demand. Similarly, he said money also brings a lot of utilities to the individual, and that is why, I mean, money in the form of cash, हम अपने हाथ में जो पैसे रखते हैं उससे हमें कुछ satisfaction मिलती है, इसीलिए लोग money की demand करते हैं, right? His theory of demand is specifically focused on the ultimate wealth holders. He said लोगों के पास wealth होती है, so he is talking about those wealth holders कि वो लोग money को कैसे demand करते हैं, right? Now, wealth holders, he said there are two types of wealth holders. एक होते हैं individual wealth holders like households, and second are the business firms. He has classified them क्योंकि इन दोनों के factors अलग अलग हैं, इन दोनों की reasons अलग अलग हैं money को hold करने के लिए. That is why we have done a bifurcation between both of them, individual households and the business firms. So let's see one by one. First, we will talk about the individual households. Now, according to Friedman, individuals money की demand क्यों करते हैं? There are various factors. Number one, the first factor is wealth. Wealth, he said, जितनी भी wealth लोगों के पास होती है उस पर डिपेंड करेगा कि वो कितनी मनी की डिमांड करेंगे. Now, wealth is the complete assets, all the portfolio of assets that an individual holds. But Friedman said practically it is very difficult to find the exact wealth. He said practically बहुत मुश्किल है कि हम exact wealth को पता कर सकें कि individual की कितनी है. So in place of wealth, we can use income also. He said कि income एक idea दे देती है that कितनी wealth एक individual के पास है. तो अगर wealth का practically number available नहीं है, I mean what exact wealth you cannot find, so we can use income also, right? So that is why total wealth has been represented by Y. This is the first factor जिस पे depend करेगा कि हमारी money की demand कितनी है. Second factor was proportion of human wealth to non-human wealth. Now what is this? Human wealth होता है हमारी ability, हमारी skills, हमारी intelligence to earn money. हमारी abilities कितनी है उसे हम human wealth कहते हैं. So for example, a person who is young, very intelligent, very skilled, उसकी money की demand अलग होगी compared to the person who is old, fragile, retired. चाहे दोनों की wealth equal हो, लेकिन क्योंकि इन दोनों का proportion of human wealth and non-human wealth different है, तो इनकी डिमांड फॉर मनी डिफरेंट हो सकती है. सो दिस इज अगेन वन फैक्टर विच विल डिसाइड द डिमांड फॉर मनी. ह्यूमन वेल्थ टू नॉन ह्यूमन वेल्थ का रेशियो कितना है. दिस इज डिपिक्टेड बाय W. थर्ड फैक्टर वॉज अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट फॉर होल्डिंग मनी. अगर मैंने अपने हाथ में कैश रखा हुआ है, दैट मीन्स आई एम लूजिंग ऑन इंटरेस्ट जो कि शायद मैं बैंक्स में अर्न कर सकती थी. दैट इंटरेस्ट आई कुड हैव अर्न बाय बॉन्ड्स, दैट इंटरेस्ट आई कुड हैव अर्न बाय शेयर्स. सो ये होते हैं अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट. सो द रेट ऑफ रिटर्न ऑन मनी दैट यू गेट, द रेट ऑफ रिटर्न ऑन बॉन्ड्स दैट यू गेट, द रेट ऑफ रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी शेयर्स दैट यू गेट, they also will decide the demand for money. Next factor was expected changes in the prices. If in future मुझे ऐसा लगता है that prices will increase, maybe my demand for money will change, right? So expected changes in the price is also the factor that determines the demand for money. And the last he said other variables. I mean there could be other variables also. For example, economy कितनी stable है, मेरी पर्सनल रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्या है, ऑल दीज थिंग्स, राइट. अदर यूटिलिटी वेरिएबल, जो भी मनी हमें यूटिलिटी देता है, ये वेरिएबल्स भी डिटरमाइन करेंगे व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी द डिमांड फॉर मनी फॉर एन इंडिविजुअल. सो नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू कंबाइन ऑल द फैक्टर्स. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू फ्राइडमैन्स द डिमांड फंक्शन फॉर मनी बिकम्स, वी आर गोइंग टू यूज ऑल दीज फैक्टर्स. द डिमांड फंक्शन इज, see, I have written M upon P. As I told you, he gave the demand for real cash balances, right? So M upon P is the function of Y, total wealth, W, proportion of human wealth to non-human wealth, delta P upon P is the expected changes in the prices, rate of return on money, rate of return on equity, rate of return on bond, that is the opportunity cost, and mu is representing other variables. This was the demand for money function given by Friedman for individuals. This is for the individuals. Now let's see for the business people. For businesses, what is the demand factor? Let's see. Number one is the total income. Now I have not used the word wealth. He said businesses के लिए wealth जैसा कोई concept नहीं होता है. businesses की हम income पे depend करते हैं. जितनी उनकी income होगी, जितनी businesses earn करते हैं, on that it will depend how much money they demand. Second factor is proportion of human wealth to non-human wealth. Now think, is this factor relevant? क्या businesses को human wealth देखना होता है? क्या businesses की human beings की तरह life होती है? ऐसा नहीं है. I mean, if they want new skills, they can anytime hire new employees. तो ये factor businesses की equation में include नहीं होगा. This will be excluded. So I am going to remove this. Right? So keep in mind, for the individual we use that factor, human wealth to non-human wealth. But for businesses we do not use that. Rest all the other factors are same. Opportunity cost for holding money. I mean whatever returns that you could have earned, now you're losing that, right? So opportunity cost for holding money. Then we have expected changes in the prices, just like similar in the individuals, and other variables. So all the other variables are same. Only keep in mind the W factor, that is the human wealth. We do not include that in the businesses. So the demand equation for the businesses becomes this one. So here you can see it is exactly the same as individuals, only that we have not included W here, and in place of wealth we only write income. This is the only difference between the demand function of money for individuals and businesses, households. So this was the theory proposed by Friedman. Now some of the conclusions of the theory. Yes, Friedman, the theory was important because he specified some important variables, right? He came up with the human wealth and wealth, these kind of variables he came up with, which are very important to determine the demand for money. But somehow this theory was criticized that he did not, clearly tell what is the importance of these factors. I mean, how important is which factor? This theory was a very theoretical relationship was given, as in, how one factor decides the demand for money. That is the only criticism for the Friedman's theory. Other than that, this was the theory given by Friedman. So I hope you all have understood the concept. If you like the video, please give a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to the channel, and keep studying. Thank you so much.